On tonight's 10 p.m. report,
more trouble for the reputed porn king Ferris Alexander. Did he evade taxes?
Cockpit tapes show the crew of that damaged Aloha Airlines jet stayed cool and made a miraculous landing.
In Dimension, teaching our children new ways to get more out of Phy Ed Classes.
And if you've been thinking about buying a cordless phone, consumer reporter Jim Newman has your number. I'm Pat Miles.
And I'm Don Shelby. Those stories and the pitchers' duel at the Metrodome tonight coming up on the 10 p.m. report.
Come on out and play. Leave work for another day. Come on out and play in Colorado. Come on out and be yourself, Colorado, and no places.
The reliable Nissan Sentra is loaded with the kind of human engineering people want. And for a limited time, Sentras come equipped with an added feature everybody wants: cash. Right now, you can get $500 cash back from Nissan on Sentra 2-doors, 4-doors, hatchbacks, wagons, and sport coupes. All you have to do is decide which Sentra you want.
And now, some of the best beer bellies in America. These beer bellies are brought to you by Pabst Light, the light beer with a lot of taste, but not a lot of calories.
Lake Calhoun in Minneapolis, is it a jewel to be left untouched or fair game for developers who want to build lakeshore high-rises? The battle lines are being drawn.
WCCO Television presents Pat Miles, Don Shelby, Mike Fairborn, and Mark Rosen. This is the 10 p.m. report.
Good evening, everyone. Should the city of Lakes become known as the city of lakeshore high-rises? That's the question facing city officials.
Folks who live near Lake Calhoun are fighting to limit the height of buildings put up along the lakeshore. Tonight, they won a victory against a developer who wants to build a 25-story apartment building on Lake Calhoun. Mike Walsher has the story.
When you look north across Calhoun, this is what you see. When the owners of the beach club look the same direction, this is what they hope to see. A 24-story building with 320 apartments rising up 300 yards from the shore of the lake. People who sail Calhoun claim that would change the wind pattern from the north and destroy their recreation.
When the wind comes off the top of the building and around the side of the building, we'll end up with what they call vortexes, and these are swirls that'll go down the lake. Now the swirls could possibly capsize somebody if they aren't aware that the wind is going to be changing on them.
Woldham and 200 other opponents packed the Planning Commission hearing on the high-rise. Developers say their project would bring the city $750,000 a year in property taxes.
We feel that we have an excellent design given the parameters of density, sensitivity to the lakes and to the neighborhood, design of the Calhoun Beach Club, and the financing parameters.
But dozens of residents opposed the high-rise.
It is not too late to say no to this enterprise. Thank you.
The commission followed the recommendation of its staff and rejected the high-rise by a vote of 4-3. It did allow developers to put up a 12-story building, the same height as the beach club. Developers say 12 stories don't do them any good. They can't make money with that sized building. Still, they haven't made a final decision yet to scrap the entire project. I'm Mike Walsher, WCCO Television News, Minneapolis.
Minneapolis City Council takes up the high-rise proposal Friday.
On another development front, Minneapolis council members today got a status report and tour of the city's new convention center. All donned hard hats for a first-hand look at the progress thus far. Groundbreaking was 1 year ago this month, but the focus today was on the first of 3 250-ton steel domes being built. Coordinators say construction is nearly 2 weeks behind schedule, but nearly $5 million ahead of budget. And marketing executives say there's been no trouble selling space. Already 32 conventions are booked through 1996. Authorities continued their investigation of reputed porn king Ferris Alexander. Yesterday, they raided 23 suspected pornography outlets. Today, that evidence led the IRS to search Alexander's safe deposit boxes at 5 Twin City banks and 1 bank in Duluth. Search warrants indicate authorities are pursuing a tax evasion case against Alexander that goes back 3 years, along with some possible charges for transporting obscene material. No charges have been filed, no arrests have been made, but the evidence will eventually be presented to a grand jury.
Authorities in Grand Marais, north of Duluth, are looking for an arsonist tonight. They suspect the same person set 2 major fires up there this week. One destroyed the Lake Superior trading post, causing $1 million in damage. That happened Sunday night. Then, early yesterday morning, another fire damaged the Harbor Review Supper Club, causing thousands of dollars in damage. Police say they have a suspect in mind. The pilot and co-pilot who managed to land that crippled Aloha jetliner last month were honored today. Captain Robert Schornsheimer and First Officer Mimi Tompkins were presented the Superior Airmanship Award from the Airline Pilots Association for landing that plane after a 20-foot section of the fuselage blew off. Tapes released today tell us just how serious the situation was.
Roger, how many do you think are injured?
We have no idea. We cannot communicate with our flight attendants.
Okay, we'll have ambulance on the way.
Okay, be advised, we have no nose here. We are landing without the nose here.
Okay, any other assistance you need, advise me.
We'll need all the equipment you've got.
One flight attendant died in the incident, but everyone else survived. The pilot and co-pilot had to use sign language, they said, in the cockpit because the wind's roar was so loud they could not talk to each other.
Has the United States come up with the right deal to remove military strongman Manuel Noriega from Panama? CBS News reports tonight that U.S. officials have offered to drop drug indictments against Noriega if he leaves office, and that would clear the way to end economic sanctions against Panama. Will President Reagan veto the controversial trade bill? Not if congressional Democrats have their way. House Speaker Jim Wright signed the bill today, and a parade of Democrats in Congress appealed to the president not to veto the measure. Mr. Reagan earlier promised to veto the trade bill. And tonight, as expected, Ronald Reagan gave his official endorsement to George Bush for the Republican presidential nomination. Bush has the nomination locked up anyway. Earlier today, evangelist Pat Robertson threw his support to Bush also.
It is happy 100th birthday to Irving Berlin, America's best-known songwriter. And while a big party is underway tonight at Carnegie Hall, New Yorkers weren't the only ones celebrating a centennial. A special noon-hour concert was held at the Crystal Court in Minneapolis. Even the crowd joined in.
There's no people like show people. They smile when they are low. Even when the turkey is I show business I go, business I know.
Irving Berlin has written more popular songs than any other composer. He may be 100, but his music seems to be timeless.
A girl that I marry will have to be as soft and as pink as a nursery.
Having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave.
Blue sky smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see.
The Jeep sales event of the year is on now at your Jeep Eagle dealer. Save up to $2,050 on a select Jeep Comanche loaded up with an option discount package. Or you can save up to $1,800 on a select Jeep Cherokee. Plus get $750 cash back on Jeep Wagoneer, $1,000 on Grand Wagoneer. Also hurry in and check out the exciting new Eagle Premier. See America's winners now at your Jeep Eagle dealer.
See your great Northern Jeep Eagle dealers, where you can expect the best.
I wish Grandpa was here. Wonder why he had to see the doctor. Hey, you been doing any fishing this year, Phil?
You bet.
At Group Health, we believe in taking care of little things before they become big things. And you'll get the finest personal attention from your own doctor.
Everything's okay. We caught it in time.
Hey, pal, how'd they bite?
Grandpa!
Group Health. Quality health care for life.
Announcing Highland Superstore's Super Sale, a sale where prices on many items are marked down so low some people won't let anything stand in their way to get there. Get this GE programmable VHS video recorder with wireless remote, just $188. So no matter how you get there, get there.
Mr. Kreppel. But where's Mrs. Kreppel?
Highland Super Sale, now through Saturday only.
The microwaves are over here, see?
Daybreak in Hastings. For Robert Bauer, it's when a hard day's work depends on how accurate the weatherman was last night.
When I watch the weather at 10 o'clock, it helps me plan the next day as far as what I do, especially in the summertime. That's my busiest time of the year. I have to know what the weather is going to be. I like them all, but Mike is my weatherman.
Mike Fairborn and Weather Center 4, keeping you ahead of the storm.
Tonight in Dimension, keeping today's young people in shape. Despite all the time they spend watching the tube, Teach Your Children continues.
First, mixed signals about money. Almost every day, news about the economy. We look at why it is hard to say that the news is always completely good or completely bad.
Today, top banks raised their prime lending rate from 8.5% to 9%. It's a move that could soon make it more expensive for businesses and consumers to borrow money. Unless you're an economist, you may be wondering why interest rates can rise, often viewed as a bad thing, when just last week there was excitement over a 14-year low in unemployment. Well, with the help of a seesaw, we want to simplify the up and down dynamics of today's economics. With unemployment falling, more people bring in a salary and can pay higher prices. That gets everyone scared about inflation, though, so the Federal Reserve tries to keep people from getting money too easily. So up goes the rate it charges banks, and up goes the prime. And the seesaw starts up again. The interest rate rises for people who have money in bank investments. Stock investments seem less lucrative. And the stock market drops like it did today, down 34 points to a 3-month low. The final dynamic is this. Eventually, consumers get loans pulled upward, and things like the housing market can feel the crunch. Bad news in some ways, but people don't like the other option either, and that's inflation. Many were quick to point out today that there could be some political significance to the prime rate. 1980 was the last time the prime rate went up during an election year. Jimmy Carter, then president, lost the race.
Now, Teach Your Children, which so far has dealt with teaching the mind. Tonight, teaching the mind how to keep the body healthy. What we knew as gym or physical education class is still called that, but it's hardly the same. There's now a need to get kids exercise in a time when young people are getting lured away by things like television. Cindy Hilger takes us inside physical education in our junior high schools.
7, 8, 9, 10. All right, relax.
Jams and T-shirts, not exactly the Phy Ed uniform of years ago. But Phy Ed isn't the class it used to be either.
There's a little agility course you're going to go through now. You're going to spin it and walk through people as you're walking along spinning it.
Now you'll find students in junior high and high school learning how to use spin jammers, a disc like a frisbee that you can spin on a finger and play games like spin jammer basketball and golf.
Get it going. We're going to toss it.
It's part of a trend toward recreational sports, a trend that started when Phy Ed classes went co-ed.
This is something that is new, and the guys can't dominate it because they don't know anything about it. And it's very easy to teach it then.
Another class you didn't see a few years ago, aerobics. Tartan High School in St. Paul is offering it for the first time this year. Students asked for it, and they got it.
Because I don't get too much exercise, which this class, going to school and having to do it, which motivates me to do it, and I'm having so much fun. I love it. I just love to get rid of that energy. It's great.
This class emphasizes overall fitness, nutrition, and ways to keep your heart healthy. The school hopes kids will become more aware of the responsibility for their own health.
I think they need to know that the body is like the motor of a car. If you don't take care of it, it's going to give out oftentimes sooner than we expect.
This type of physical education has some clear reasons behind it. Studies show that young people are less fit than in years past.
At this point, we have kids who they're watching more television. They aren't getting involved in activities such as we hoped they would. And as a result of that has an effect on their overall physical conditioning.
On top of that, in districts like Minneapolis, an increase in academic classes has actually meant a cutback in Phy Ed for 7th and 8th graders. Officials say they're seeing kids with a lot more pent-up energy. Educators would like to know whether other countries are seeing the same changes in children's health.
Okay, good jump, Kevin.
Franklin Junior High in Minneapolis is part of a test to compare fitness levels of kids in the United States and the Soviet Union.
Okay, start.
The results will be compared, and teachers will exchange information on teaching fitness.
Keep working, not much time left.
Phy Ed isn't the class it used to be. Kids aren't either. 31. With John Seidlitz, Cindy Hilger, WCCO Television News.
And our series will continue. Now, our hope has been that the test questions each night show us what young people are expected to know. Tonight's are, let's say, very revealing. Here's Terry Haley, science teacher at Valley Middle School in Apple Valley.
Arsenic has an atomic number of 33 and an atomic mass of 75. How many neutrons does this atom have? A, 33, B, 75, C, 42, or D, 108? Next one. Will an object with a density of 7.8 grams per cubic centimeter sink or float in water? And the last one. Who was the father of genetics? A, Gregor Mendel, B, Isaac Newton, or C, Charles Darwin?
What a snap on these junior high things. Okay, if you really need the answers, they'll be coming up later.
The mid-size Dodge Dakota with new package discounts to save you up to $1,500 plus cashback savings of $500 more. When it's gotta be right, it's gotta be a Dodge. The mid-size Dodge Dakota 4x4 with $500 cash back and package savings up to $1,000 more. When it's gotta be right, it's gotta be a Dodge.
The Perkins Reuben Melt, the other guy's Reuben sandwich. Our Country Club Melt, their Country Club sandwich. Our new Frisco Melt, their new Frisco Melt. If you want a delicious melt, you can either come to a Perkins family restaurant and enjoy one of ours, or go somewhere else and enjoy one of theirs. And now, for a limited time, get our new Frisco Melt, or any melt sandwich and a medium Coca-Cola for only $3.99. Only at Perkins.
But listeners have a choice in the morning.
Not everyone listens to WLTE to start the day.
Yeah, some people. Just like a dose of wacky guys first thing.
Even I sometimes tune around for news or talk. But then I spend the day with WLTE.
That's okay. WLTE is perfect to listen to all day long.
Wherever you are.
It's because we have great light songs to sing along with. Our main message, no matter how you start the day, spend the day with the Light FM, 103 WLTE.
WCCO Travel does it again. A complete Washington, D.C. vacation for only $299. Children 17 and under, only $189. This WCCO Travel ITA exclusive includes non-stop round-trip airfare, 3 nights at the world-famous Mayflower Hotel, and a tourmobile pass for sightseeing in our nation's capital. Longer stays available. Departures begin June 6th through September 9th, Mondays and Fridays. Call WCCO Travel at 921-3559.
Well, it started out shaky, but boy, did it get nice.
Really did. We're going to start out shaky again tomorrow, almost a repeat of what today was like. I've got some information you might be interested in, too.
Okay.
Area, surface temperature of the lakes.
Around 56, 57?
Yeah, up in the upper 50s. Is that good or bad for fishing?
Oh, I think that's going to be very good. That means that they're going to be hot.
Have a nice walleye chop
and the fish will be hot and want to get out of the water.
Yeah, that's a little warm for this time of year.
Yeah, it is. It's warming up faster than we had thought it was. But anyway, we hit up in the 70s today. Maybe that's why. Huh?
Yeah, that's it.
Weather guide, 74 degrees, a low temperature of 40. A trace of precipitation at the National Weather Service, and you may have gotten your windshield and car spotted up as well as some of those showers moved through early afternoon today. Record high 88 back in 1900. We've been as cold as 27 on this date, and I think that's probably about the temperature that we've had on many fishing openers, but that will not be the case this coming weekend. We'll be in the 80s, yes, for the beginning of it at least. We had one upper air disturbance come through us. It started out up in North Dakota. Here's when it was producing some sprinkles over our area and then moved on down to the south, but what we're watching is shortwave or weather disturbance number 2. It's coming in from the northwest, and that's going to be overspreading the state tomorrow. So it'll be just about a repeat of what we had today. If you take a look at why, we have the upper wind pattern where the winds are coming out of the northwest. There are little disturbances embedded in this strong northwest flow. The timing is almost impossible, but it looks like we'll have one come through us tomorrow, probably another one come through us sometime late Saturday afternoon and Sunday. That'll keep us windy through the weekend, but preceding that, we should warm up very nicely. Saturday, probably the warmest out of the 2 days. Temperatures in the 80s, cooling off a little bit going on into Sunday. Radar around the rest of the country. Showers extend all the way to the south. Some of these showers still breaking out up in North Dakota ahead of that little disturbance. Some of these are what's left over from the one that moved through us earlier today down in Iowa. Severe weather watch in effect down there for central Texas. Highs today, 80s close to us, all the way up into the southwest corner of the state. Temperatures reached over 100 degrees. In fact, down in Palm Springs, California today, 112. First time we've seen the temperatures get up above 110 degrees. It's some of that warm air that's going to begin to form over us, and by the weekend we will be very, very nice here. Our high temperature, our weather map for tomorrow, low pressure area moving on to the east. Another little temporary cool front coming through us will cool us off for Friday. We will warm back up again for Friday. In the meantime, our high temperatures tomorrow will be back up into the mid-70s. 80s down to the south and wrapping around us as the heat really begins to build up out in the western part of the country. We're clear outside right now at 65 degrees, 49% humidity, northwest winds at 7, a dew point of 45, and 30 inches even with the rising barometer. Mostly clear tonight, 48 for a low. Northwest winds at 5 to 15, picking up a little bit tomorrow, 10 to 20. Partly sunny with passing showers, a high of around 75 degrees. We'll see some sunshine from time to time. Partly cloudy tomorrow night and 45, and for Friday, partly cloudy and a little bit cooler with a high of 70. Saturday and Sunday, a chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms around the state. Temperatures cooling off out of the 80s on Saturday into the low 70s by Monday, Don. Good luck.
All right, thanks. Need that walleye chop. The city of St. Paul is courting the Chinese town of Changsha to be a sister city. And what better way to make a pitch than to give the Changsha officials a look at the all-American sport of baseball, especially as played by the world champion Minnesota Twins tonight. The delegates each got a Twins hat and a chance to shake hands with team owner Carl Pohlad and an up-close look at some of the Minnesota-born sports heroes. Delegation was then escorted to front row seats, so to speak, in a private box where they all waited for the call of play ball.
You may have seen this new Scandia Premium yogurt in your grocery store. But don't be fooled by the name. Oh, sure. It's white, like all good Scandinavian foods. Like creamed herring. And lutefisk. But Scandia has all this colorful fruit on the bottom. Too much fruit. And less sugar. Less white sugar.
Try new Scandia Premium Yogurt with more real fruit and less sugar for a clean, refreshing taste.
And another thing, it tastes too good to be Scandinavian. We can fix that.
He's a doctor of optometry here at the Eye Works. First step in the glasses fast, glasses right promise. Thanks, Steve. This little piece of paper is my prescription for a new pair of glasses. Now, here's the really fast part. The lab's right here in the Eye Works with the specially trained technicians and all the latest equipment. They can make my glasses in an hour. You can stay and watch if you want. The new me. That fast.
The Eye Works. Glasses fast, glasses right. Open Sundays from noon to 5 p.m.
Oh, here it comes.
Okay, is it time? Are you ready? Yeah. Okay, now dream about Hawaii, Mexico, Walter's New World. Okay, now what? Write down this prefix number. Got it. Now what are you going to do? I'm going to listen to Charlie Moon and Roger Erickson tomorrow morning at 8:30 on WCCO Radio. And if this prefix number and the 4 digits we give you on WCCO Radio match your home phone number, you can stop dreaming.
Because
you could be bound for paradise.
This summer, celebrate the spirit of music, waltz Viennese style, or explore the world of the symphony, the concerto, chamber music, or Puccini's powerful opera Tosca. Join me, Leonard Slatkin, and the members of the Minnesota Orchestra for Sommerfest 88, July 13th through August 6th.
Levitt's Anniversary Sale, the most exciting furniture sale you've ever seen. Going on now at Levitt's.
Levitt's Anniversary Sale, you'll love it!
Going to lead off sports tonight with an interesting rumor that may be confirmed. May be confirmed.
Talking about Bobby Knight, the possibility that at least a Dallas newspaper has reported that Bobby Knight will accept the head coaching job at New Mexico. I'll believe it when it's true, but Bobby Knight has paid a visit to that state and obviously was interested in the job. This is the Dallas newspaper reporting tonight that Bobby Knight will become the new basketball coach at New Mexico. We'll find out a little bit more about that, of course, tomorrow. Meanwhile, at the Metrodome tonight, the Twins defeated Milwaukee 2-1. Yes, they've gained 2 games in Oakland in 24 hours. The trio of Bert Blyleven, Keith Atherton, and Jeff Reardon shut down the Brewer attack. It was a game dominated by pitching and defense, both good and bad for the Brewers, who made 3 errors contributing to the 2 Twin runs. With no score in the 6th, Gene Larkin was robbed by first baseman Greg Brock here, but pitcher Chris Bosio was there to touch the bag for the 3rd out, but dropped the ball. That allowed Gary Gaetti to score the first run. The only reason the score remained close was because of this catch by center fielder Robin Yount, who had to concentrate on finding the ball at the same time trying to avoid a major league collision with Rob Deere, one of the biggest players in the game. Yount made the catch and both survived the minor crash. Another Milwaukee error put the go-ahead runner on base in the 8th. 2 outs. Larkin comes through with a double up the gap, his 3rd double in 2 nights. Randy Bush got his heart pumping round in 3rd and coming home with the winning run. Atherton got credit for the victory. Reardon pitched the scoreless 9th for his 6th save, and the Twins had a 2-1 win and a day off to look forward to tomorrow. Elsewhere, Detroit handed Oakland its 2nd straight loss, 8-4, so the Twins are now just 10 back. The Yankees hammered the White Sox again, 12-2. Toronto finally wins a game, 9-3 over Seattle. Texas 8-0 over Baltimore. They lose again. In California, now with a 3-2 lead over Cleveland in the 4th inning. In the National League, Houston 8-5 over the Mets and Dwight Gooden in the 8th inning. Pittsburgh 2-1 over Los Angeles in 11. The Cubs beat San Diego 1-0 in 10. Cincinnati and Philly tied in the 10th inning. San Francisco leading St. Louis in the 3rd. And Atlanta 3-2 over Montreal. The Strikers lost Game 3 of the best-of-7 Eastern Division Finals to Cleveland tonight, 5-4, and now trail the Force 2 games to 1. This game was close throughout as both teams traded goals. Then, with under 10 minutes to play, the Strikers took their first lead of the night. Stan Cummins scoring his 3rd and most important goal of the playoffs. It looked good for the Strikers. They led there 4-3. But Minnesota could not finish off the Force. Cleveland tied it at 4, and then John Stolmeyer netted the game winner with just 3 minutes to go. The Strikers must win one of the next 2 games at Cleveland in order to bring the series back to Met Center for a 6th game. Well, it's the Great Outdoors weekend coming up as fishermen flock to the lakes in droves, and R.J. Fritz reports.
Lake Mille Lacs, where some 25,000 to 30,000 fishermen will be on the lake at one time during this weekend. Of course, pressure like that all over the state. And at one time or another, those fishermen will say, why aren't they biting? That's why we're going to Ted Capra, our old pro fishing buddy, to find out what's new in lures for 1988.
One of the key lures that I feel is probably the best is the tube-type jig. It's kind of hard to see right now, but it's a tube jig. They've been using it all over the country for bass, and we found out that it's excellent for walleyes. Another good jig is the rocker minnow. That's kind of caught on really big. It's just a spoon. It can be tipped with a minnow or fished without a minnow. Naturally, the Rapala-type lures have been really good. The Lindy Shadling over in Wisconsin last weekend has been excellent. And with that, you've got a tight wiggling lure. And with that comes the rattle trap. Now, the rattle trap also has a tight wiggling lure, which makes it a new lure in this area.
Don't let high winds keep you from catching fish. Head for the bays and the panfish. We tried it with those new tube-type jigs, and it works. Ralph John Fritz, WCCO Television Sports on Hidden Lake.
Hidden Lake, you betcha. There'll still be a lot of excuses on Saturday. The Edmonton Oilers are going for the old juggler tonight against Detroit in the Stanley Cup semifinals. The Oilers can score quickly. Former North Star Keith Acton makes a tremendous move to fool Greg Stefan. Acton's goal made the score 5-2. Now in the second period, Edmonton leads Detroit 6-2. They're going to win that game. They're going to be on their way to the finals. Boston Garden is the stage, and the Boston Celtics are the stars when the NBA playoffs are playing. Larry Bird has been starring at the Garden for years, saving loose balls, rebounding missed shots, and scoring at impressive rates. Tonight, Bird hit his first 10 shots and finished with 38 as Boston beat Atlanta 110-101 in Game 1 of their second-round series. Utah beat the Lakers last night in Los Angeles, a big upset, so that series is now tied at 1 apiece.
Bobby Knight in New Mexico.
I can't believe
Whoa, I
that.
don't believe it either. I like the Dallas papers, but I don't think they're right. Can't be.
Be different, wouldn't it? Now, still ahead on the Wednesday 10, cordless phones get the once-over from consumer reporter Jim Newman. Which ones work best?
Shop the Spruce Up sale at Menards and register free to win a Coleman Sequoia camping trailer just in time for summer. Spruce up and save with Glidden quality paints on sale now. Choose Spreadwall flat latex paint at just $5.88 per gallon. And save on Glidden Endurance Plus 2 latex house paint. The name says it all. On sale now in popular colors, just $8.88 per gallon. That's the Spruce Up sale at Menards.
We're helping you build America's heartland at Menards.
So many people buy so much of our super fresh gas. It's never less than super fresh. Super America. We fill up more often than you do.
Super America gas. It's super fresh and it's super clean.
Now with Super Injector Guard Plus.
Olds, honey, isn't it a shame about some young cars today?
Huh?
Where they get their financing.
They're confused by all those gimmicks.
But financing at the State Capital Credit Union is simple. New cars and most used cars are financed at the same low interest rate.
Not many places do that.
SCCU financing is the best thing to happen to Minnesota cars since heated garages.
Before financing your next car, call